I choose to see the world through rose-colored glasses. I choose to see the good in everything, even when it seems there is no good. And that attitude enables me to put my best foot forward irrespective of the circumstances. Hello, welcome back. If this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. Here we discuss, we study, and we add knowledge so that we may know more and be more. Sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we may not know what to do about what we want. And when I say what we want, I'm referring to our dreams, our aspirations, or our desires. We may not know what to do about those lofty or seemingly lofty desires in our hearts. Have you ever been in a position like that before? Please share with me in the comment section. Well, I have been in a position where I didn't know what to do about what I wanted. As a matter of fact, I've been in that position a good number of times. Yeah, so I want us to talk about it today. Let's talk about what to do when you don't know what to do about what you want. Here is what I began to do. I learned to do and I began to practice. I decided that I have to put the most important things in place. So for me, I began something I call begin with the practice and the process will follow. You'll be wondering what practices are these, right? I understand. We'll get to that in a bit. Here's the thing. It is so crippling to think about how, especially when you really don't know how. I mean, if you knew how, you would already be going about achieving what you want. But because you don't know how, you begin to wonder, oh my God. But how is the thing that causes us to freeze sometimes. What I do is just shelve the how and focus on the things that I can control or the things I can put in place. And the approach I began to take by putting the practices in place for the processes to follow is the mind over matter approach, which entails doing the internal work. Because when the internal work begins, the external results will eventually show. And then in the process of doing the internal work, you become. As you become, you begin to achieve. So it's mind over matters, the internal work before the external results, and then becoming, then achieving. That's the approach I began to take. Let's look at it this way. The desire of your heart, your aspiration, or your dream is like a building. When it's time to build, the first thing that begins is the foundation. Begin to dig the foundation so that it can hold the structure. The practices I'm speaking about here can be seen as the foundation. When that is happening, it seems like nothing is happening. Nobody sees anything. Even you who is digging the foundation, you see nothing. And you just have to keep digging because you know where you're going eventually. So the practices are like the foundation. You're digging the foundation and nothing seems to be happening. You begin to lay the structure one step after the other and it begins to take form. And that's when it gets attention, it gets noticed, it becomes evident and people look at it and say, oh, something was happening here all along and this is what the result of that internal work is. From digging the foundation, when it seems like nothing is happening, the structure begins to take place one step after the other. That's how it is when you put the practices first before the processes. It's like a building where you first lay the foundation that holds up the structure, by the way, before the structure itself begins to come into play. Another thing is this. At the time that you are working on the practices, realize that those are the qualities that will bring forth the processes. Now, what are these qualities? Look at them as the soft skills that you have, your innate qualities. Some are innate, by the way, and some are acquired. You already have some of these qualities in you. And as you go along, you realize that you may need to imbibe others. acquire others, and then you put those in place as well. I'll just talk about some of the practices that I have imbibed over time. I want to start with intentionality. We'll just list out these practices today, but we're not going to discuss them. Intentionality. A summary of this is conscious living, being mindful of the things that you do, be mindful of things you say, be mindful of your involvements, leaving nothing to chance. That is the practice of being intentional. The next thing I imbibe is gratitude. Intentionality is what sets the pace for the other practices, actually, because you want to be grateful intentionally. Not because everything is going well, not because you're already achieving the dreams or the desires, but because you know that in the end, every experience, every step of the way eventually sums up to what gets you to your desired end. So the gratitude is the choice to be grateful in life, knowing that ultimately your steps are ordered or being ordered to where you are looking to go. The next practice is the practice of putting my attitude in check. Someone said that, Earl Nightingale, I'm paraphrasing what he said, that we have an attitude towards everything in life, and our attitude towards life in turn determines life's attitude towards us. For me, I choose to just show up in life with a great attitude. It's not always the case, it's not always easy, but because I am intentional about how or what I want, I choose to see life through rose-colored glasses. That's what Brian Proctor says in his book, My Father Knew the Secret. And he said because he has chosen to see life through rose-colored glasses, his detractors would say to him that he's being unrealistic. And what he responds to them is, fine, I like my results, I like my life, and my life is good because of my choice. Just like him, I choose to see the world through rose-colored glasses. I choose to see the good in everything, even when it seems there is no good. And that attitude enables me to put my best foot forward irrespective of the circumstances. Another of my practices is clarity. This is one that sometimes has to take serious concentration. You choose among the several options and preferences what you really want. Get crystal clear. I've realized that whenever I'm really clear about what I want, it's easy for me to go for it relentlessly. So get clear. It just banishes confusion. It gives you definitiveness. All ambiguity is gone. You know that this is what I want and this is what I want to go for. Another practice is focus. In this world where everything seems so fast-paced, there's so much distraction. Everything wants our attention. It's so expedient to practice focusing on that which you want. Especially if you are in a situation where there are several things that are out of your control, just put your focus on what you can control. Put your focus on your strengths, your abilities, and what you know you can do per time. Focus is a practice that gets you closer to your dreams and aspirations. And last but not least for our discussion today is intuition. Oh my God. After all is said and done, befriend your intuition. Is that little voice that tells you, go here, don't go here. Do this, don't do that. Your intuition is a gift from God, bottom line. So after all the information we gather from the external sources, our intuition has a way of filtering what is relevant to our peculiar situations and presenting it to us. Learn to listen to your intuition. It will save you so much. If you haven't already, begin to practice listening to that voice. These 6 practices are some of the ones that are like my go-to. There are several others. I wanted us to just list out these 6 today. In subsequent videos, we're going to talk about each of them more elaborately and how we can apply them as we walk towards our dreams, our aspirations, our desires. Please share with me if you have some practices of yours as well that you have been using over time. Are there some of these qualities that I have mentioned that are innate to you? Are there some that you think you could imbibe because it will help you achieve your goals or help you move closer to your goals? Well, for me, when it seems like I'm clueless about a particular thing I want to achieve, I put these practices in place. I work with intentionality. I do everything I do intentionally. I practice gratitude. I check my attitude to be sure that my attitude aligns with what I'm aspiring to. And then I I get crystal clear about what I want. It's relative for everybody, but me, when I choose what I want, it doesn't matter what any other person is saying. This is my own pursuit. I get crystal clear on that. And then I focus on the things I can control. I focus on my strengths. I focus on my abilities. And I focus on the results that I want. And then I listen to my intuition. That is like the priceless one. I make sure that I check to hear what my intuition is saying to me per time. Well, that will be all for today's discussion. I hope that you found this video helpful or useful in some way. If you did, please share with somebody that you think might also find it useful. But in the meantime, let's learn from you as well. Tell us some of your own practices, some that you found useful from today's video, and whether you will imbibe them. But until next time, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your bell notification, and remember to share with somebody who will find it useful if you did find it useful. Ciao for now. See you next time.